a lot of people are overhyping the movie The Holdovers, which, don't get me wrong, I don't think this movie's terrible. I think at best, it's fine. So yes, today, this is going to be my thoughts, which are going to include spoilers. So I'm expecting a lot of flack in the comment section. But hey, I'm here to voice my opinion, and I'm never going to lie to you guys about my thoughts on the movie. So here we go. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this video. By now, The Holdovers, you're probably already aware this is directed by Alexander Payne, and it basically stars Paul Giamatti as this teacher, Paul Giamatti, who is stuck with these kids called The Holdovers for the kind of holiday break. Stop what you're doing, because the link down below is to my Patreon. If you're not already a member, membership's £1 per month. You get access to so much early stuff, videos, competitions, giveaways, and so much more. Get your name in the limelight like these absolute legends. Thank you to all them who helped to support me and Patreon. It really, really means a lot. What are you waiting for? Become a legend yourself. Get your name in the limelight, and I'll see you over there at Patreon. So, going into The Holdovers, I know a lot of people have been really loving this movie, and hey, by all means I'm going to start this out and say, if you love this movie, great, all power to you. I'm glad that you do. If it's in your top 10 lists for the year or last year or even this year, as this did just release in the UK, literally kind of on Friday, so I've sat with this movie a couple of days to see if my thoughts have maybe changed or if they haven't, and yeah, they basically haven't changed. So, as I mentioned, if you enjoy this, great, but I didn't think it deserves the hype or the overhype like the Oscar buzz it's getting, because it really, really doesn't. Now, if I'm going to highlight some compliments straight away, because as I mentioned, this movie is fine. The cinematography is really nice. It's got that 70s kind of grain feel to it, and it feels like it's set in that timepiece, which I really enjoyed, because a lot of movies do nowadays try to set themselves in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, whenever it is, and doesn't exactly feel as if it's in that time, except for maybe the costuming, but the cinematography actually captured the essence of this being in the 70s, which again I enjoyed. Performances throughout are really good. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that no one is giving a bad performance, because they're not. Paul Giamatti is really good. It's nice to see him in a leading role, along with Dominic, who I believe is his first movie. Definitely impressive as Angus Tully, I will say, and Divine Joy Randolph. I think she was also really good as Mary. So again, cinematography is really nice. The acting is really good. The story is, you know, kind of like an okay story at best. And this is, I think, where we factor into why I think this movie is just fine and not so great like everyone is saying. One thing I forgot to mention is that this movie, The Holdovers themselves, about 5 of these kids, basically they all leave within like the first 20-25 minutes of this movie maximum, and they leave the movie way too early, therefore eliminating kind of the rest of the chemistry that this movie should have had, and implementing maybe more changes on the character of Paul Giamatti, but instead they leave way too early, and it's just a huge missed opportunity. It's touching to the character of Paul Giamatti, right? So he is this teacher, he's had love in the past, and he almost got married, that we learned throughout, and he never got really married at all, or it kind of just fell apart towards the end. Also, he drinks a lot, he likes being in his own space and environment, listening to music, and he's kind of like cold, and he's kind of sheltered away from kind of everyone from the rest of the world, does his teaching and goes basically back to his room and doesn't really venture out of his kind of safe space, so to say. So I can understand the fact that he's reserved, and as this movie goes on, he becomes a little bit more open to people, a little bit more open to himself, and a little bit more open in his own life in terms of going out of just his safe space and stepping out of his comfort zone. So that aspect I can appreciate. However, ultimately the decision that goes towards the end here is leading with our character of Angus Tully, played by Dominic, and this character, his parents don't really care. Well, his mum and stepdad don't really care about him whatsoever. His dad is kind of like in this like mental asylum that we learn, and this character, Dominic, Angus Tully, he feels kind of, you know, not love there really at home, or he doesn't really experience kind of like a family Christmas, so to say, because his mum is more busy with this stepdad than him. So again, you can feel for these characters. There's elements in the story where it makes you want to feel for them and feel sorry for them. The issue that I have though, and with this story and how it wraps up, is ultimately Paul Giamatti's character of Paul Hunham takes the fall for Angus Tully wanting to go see his dad. But the issue is he loses his job. He's going to leave town, and he's been given a kind of like a notepad or like a kind of a book, because he's mentioned in the movie that he wants to write a book. But we get kind of like no wrap up to his character. Like, he's going to leave town. Okay, well, the money he's got from his job, you know, is he going to start a new life? Is he going to write this book? Is he ultimately just going to fall into this kind of trap that he was in previously? And he's just going to be kind of secluded again from the world. There's no real wrap up, whereas the kid gets to stay in school, but he loses his job and everything in like this safe space. And again, I appreciate they explain why he's in that job in the first place, but it's still a job, it's still a livelihood. Whereas now, what, he's like stuck in his car? Like, it's just stupid. And the problem with the Holdovers is that there's many scenes where Angus Tully is just rinse and repeat, getting himself in trouble, going against Paul Hunham, like defying his orders whatsoever, doesn't really want to get to know him, just completely goes against everything that he advises. And there's only so many times you can do that till you, the audience, get really frustrated in what he's doing and really stop caring about this kid and this relationship that should have been a really nice formative relationship, and at the end really feeling sorry for Paul Giamatti's character Paul Hunham and really, you know, wanted to be invested. But instead I was just like, well, the teacher kind of, to me, felt a little bit screwed over. This kid feels like an absolute brat until like maybe the last scene. He has a little bit of sympathy, but besides that, kind of like, it just feels like resolved. It feels like there's a lot of rinse and repeat scenes. It feels like some of our characters don't get full fleshed out stories or full definitive wrap ups, so to say. The Holdovers for me, guys, I'm just going to say this, is it's fine, but I have absolutely no desire to check this one out again. And I appreciate I'm probably in a very small minority here, but hey, I'm not just going to tell you guys this movie is great just to have you guys have a good review or anything. I've never lied on this channel, and I never will. Simple as that. So my score for The Holdovers is a 2.5 out of 5. Have you seen this movie? Are you going to check it out? Am I completely right, or am I completely wrong? Well, let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue the discussion down there. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by clicking the red button down below. Heck, even if this is a hot take, I do appreciate it. Check out these videos over here if you haven't already to see more content from the channel. Till next time I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.